Over the next 5 years, the global economy will increasingly rely on Brics nations rather than the G7 countries. China and India are projected to be the leaders in growth by purchasing power parity, according to the International Monetary Fund. Meanwhile, the United States, Germany, and Japan are rapidly losing ground. Experts suggest that the G7 may lose its status as the organization that resolves key issues related to global trade, financial relations, and international economic cooperation. Izvestia has explored how Brics is gaining influence on the global stage. Brics at the forefront. The role of Brics nations in the global economy is expected to grow significantly in the next 5 years. This forecast comes from Bloomberg, citing IMF data. The projection is based on the country's purchasing power parity, with China, India, Russia, and Brazil anticipated to contribute the most growth. In terms of PPP, Brics countries are expected to surpass G7 members, including the United States, Germany, and Japan, whose contributions have been revised downward. The IMF expects China to achieve the greatest success, with its growth already exceeding that of all G7 countries, combined by 21.7%. India, another major player, is predicted to contribute 14.8% of global growth by 2029. This indicates that the global economy is becoming increasingly dependent on developing markets, including those outside Brics. This trend is especially evident in purchasing power, which adjusts for prices and gives more weight to poorer but more populous countries. Developing economies on the rise. Egypt, for example, is expected to achieve a 1.7% growth rate, similar to Germany and Japan. Vietnam is forecasted to reach 1.4%, comparable to France and the UK. On the other hand, Canada and Italy, the smallest G7 economies, are projected to contribute less than 1% each to global GDP growth over the 5-year period, lagging behind poorer countries like Bangladesh and the Philippines. U.S. positions are also weaker, with its share of the global economy by PPP failing to maintain its previous level. In the IMF forecast, the U.S. ranks third, with less than 12% of global PPP. Meanwhile, Russia holds fifth place, with a projected contribution of 2.1%. This is 0.3% higher than the forecast from 6 months ago, although Russia falls behind Indonesia, which is expected to contribute 3.5%. Brics expansion and influence. Brics now consists of 9 countries: Brazil, Russia, China, India, South Africa, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE, and Egypt. Together, they represent about 43% of the world's population and 26% of global GDP. Dmitry Kokhlov of the Russian Asian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs notes that Brics members have been gaining influence across various economic sectors, a trend that is likely to continue. Projections suggest that Brics could achieve 50% of global GDP by 2050, while the influence of Western developed countries may decline to 20%. The recent rise of Brics serves as a signal to the West that critical issues of global trade, financial relations, and economic cooperation cannot be addressed solely within the G7 or even G20 frameworks. Continued Brics momentum could shift key global problem-solving functions toward the Brics nations. Reforms, not opposition. As Russian President Vladimir Putin has stated, Brics aims to reform, not oppose, the current world order. Brics members are not trying to establish an anti-Western order, but seek to transform the current system to make it fairer and more balanced through joint management and consultations. Key factors behind Brics growth. Economic weight. The cumulative economic weight of Brics on the global stage is increasing, driven by growth in technology and production, diversified economies, BRICS nations are diversifying their economies, developing joint projects, and establishing alternative financial institutions, which strengthen mutual trade ties and cooperation. However, challenges remain, as member countries have differing economic models, political systems, and development levels. These differences can complicate coordination and reduce BRICS' effectiveness on the global stage. Key takeaways from the BRICS Summit. The 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan demonstrated the growing influence of BRICS in the global economy. By addressing global political and economic agendas, BRICS members showed the G7 that they have overtaken them in global GDP contribution and have a distinct vision for economic development. In the short term, the summit emphasized de-escalating the conflict in Ukraine and supporting a peace agreement. Long-term projects include a unified investment platform, a common currency, and a grain exchange. Russia highlighted alternative solutions for global challenges, where BRICS nations can play key roles, potentially assuming functions currently held by the UN. Russia's role is central, given its natural resources and industrial potential. It contributes to BRICS' energy security and can use its resources to strengthen its global market position. However, Russia's smaller population and domestic market, compared to China and India, limit its potential to become the leading BRICS member. To change its trajectory, Russia will need structural reforms, economic diversification, and an improved investment climate. Without these changes, Russia's influence in the global economy is likely to diminish. G7 versus BRICS. A shifting balance. Despite G7's established economic integration and policy coordination, BRICS is striving to expand its influence in the global economy. Yet, internal contradictions and coordination challenges may prevent BRICS from fully replacing the G7 as the dominant economic force. The global economic landscape in the coming years is expected to be shaped by a complex interaction between these two groups. Thank you for watching the channel. If you find the video useful, please like and subscribe to not miss the latest content. Don't forget to leave your feelings in the comments section so we can know more about your opinions.